Today we're going to talk about integers. Positive whole numbers, their opposites, and zero are called integers. To represent data that are less than zero, you can use a negative integer. Integer is just another name for a number that's either positive, negative, or zero. Integers are only whole numbers, so when we talk about fractions or decimals, those are not included in the group of numbers that are integers. A negative integer is written with this little negative sign. We don't call it a minus sign, it's actually a negative sign. Data that are greater than zero are represented by positive integers. And as you already know, everything above zero are positive. Everything below or to the left of zero on a number line are negative integers. Positive and negative integers are also opposites of each other. Here are some real-life examples of integers. If we're talking about football, for example, and a team has a 10-yard loss, we can represent that using a negative integer. We would use the number negative 10. That means it's a 10-yard loss. The team has lost 10 yards. Let's say you have 4 inches of rain above normal. Is that positive 4 or negative? Well, if it's above normal, that's a positive integer. Anything above zero would be positive. A $48 deposit into a savings account. Well, deposit means put money into the bank so that your balance will go up. So again, that's a positive integer. Some people put a plus sign in front of a number to show positive, but you don't have to. Putting the number without any symbol in front means it is positive. Take a look at this note over here. The number 0 can have different meanings based on the real-life context, based on the example. Sometimes 0 represents an amount that doesn't change, and sometimes it can be used to represent a real-life idea, such as sea level. Sea level could be considered 0. The integer 0 would be representative of sea level, and then anything below sea level would be negative. You try these two. What integer would represent a gain of $2 per share or 10 degrees below zero? Take a few seconds to do these. A gain of $2, that's positive 2. And 10 degrees below zero, that's negative 10. Temperature is another example of negative integers that we see a lot. In the Celsius unit, if you have anything below zero, then it would be freezing. And 0 Celsius is freezing. So those are some other real-life examples of integers. Try a few more. Make sure you really understand what positive and negative integers mean, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Pause the video, and unpause when you're ready to go over them. Okay, 20 feet below sea level, that means negative 20. I climbed 100 feet. Well, if you're climbing, you're going up. That's positive. So that's positive 100. We'll put units on here. That's feet, and that's feet. The Cowboys lost 15 yards. So that would be a negative 15. You're losing weight, losing money, losing yards in football. Those are all negative. The water level in an aquarium dropped 3 centimeters. Well, if the water level is dropping, that means it's going down. That would be negative 3 centimeters. So understanding positive and negative integers are pretty easy. You also have to be able to graph them on a number line, which is also pretty simple. A number line is also known as a graph, and simply putting a dot at the integer represents that value. So if I had to graph negative 7, I would just put a dot at 7 to the left of 0. Sometimes you have to graph multiple integers, negative 4, 2, and negative 1. So if I had a number line with numbers already on it, that's easy. Just put a dot at negative 4, at 2, and a negative 1. Sometimes the number lines are vertical, they go up and down. Just remember that positive numbers would be going up and then the negative numbers would be going down. Piece of cake, nothing to it. Here's a real life example. Golf. Elena and her dad played golf on 4 different days. The data set shows Ariana's scores in relation to par. Par is 0 in golf. Graph the scores and explain the meaning of 0. I already told you the meaning of 0. Par is 0 in golf. If you've ever played mini golf before and you've seen that for a particular hole it'll say 3 or 2, that means that they expect you to get the ball in the hole in 3 strokes or 2 strokes. So if you get it in 3 strokes, for example, and it's par 3, then your score will be 0. If you get it in more than 3, then your score is a positive number. Golf's kind of complicated. Anyhow, if we had to graph these scores, we would just simply put a dot at -1, at +1, at -3, and at +2. And the integer 0 represents par. Try these two, graph them on a number line, pause the video, and we'll go over it when you're ready to unpause. So if I had to graph these integers, that would be pretty simple. I would simply put a dot at -3, at 0, at -2, and at 4. Now this one's a little more complicated because it didn't give us a number line. So we're going to have to draw one. We have to include all the way from -9 all the way to +8. So we're going to have quite a lot of lines here. I don't have to count by ones. I could count by 2s or by 5s or any simple number that would be easy to count by. I'm going to go ahead and count by ones just for this example. -9, so that would be -8, -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0. And I'm going to have to go all the way up to 8 because that's the biggest number I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm trying to space my lines evenly. So now I'm going to put the numbers on here. Not hard, just time consuming. And now I can place the dots at the values they're asking me to put them. 8 would be here, that's positive. -6, -9, and +5. There you go. How'd you do on that? Integers really are a piece of cake. Understanding positive and negative integers and how to graph them on a number line. Pretty easy after a little practice. We'll practice some more of this tomorrow. See you then.